So you're here again, hoping to get inspired. And you would be inspired. So before you came here, you thought about it. You actually thought about it before you clicked on this video. You thought about the benefits you're going to get from this video. So you see how your mindset is equally as important. Now, if you've been following me long enough, you know I like to define things. So let's operationalize this concept of mindset. So what does mindset mean? We hear a winner's mindset, a dogged mentality. So what does that actually mean in and of itself? If I ask you to describe a winner, you would say things like he never quits, he is persistent, he is reluctant, he's always going after it. Those are just behaviors attributed to a term. So my definition for mindset would be how you perceive things, your lens of perception through reality. So it was Leonardo da Vinci who said, nothing is good or bad except thinking makes it so. So you and I can both see a flag. One of us might feel disgusted, I might feel patriotic. So the same object, but how we relate to it is totally different. So your mindset is a very important concept in your journey of personal development. And if you do not understand what personal development is, I suggest you check our initial video behind this program, at the beginning of this program. So or your mindset is very important to your development and to your success. Now, how do you change your mindset, or how do you align it such that it produces the desired outcome? Now, if you've seen that your mindset is equally as important as your actions, according to the law of cybernetics, and I'm sure most of you study aerodynamics, you would, according to that law, if a plane is heading for a certain trajectory, it cannot deviate within that trajectory. The point of the law of cybernetics will kick in and align it back to its trajectory. So say if a plane is going straight and it begins to deviate within its course, the law of cybernetics kicks in and aligns it back to that trajectory. So this is the same thing with your mind. When you start writing those actions you take, when you start writing things that you're going to do, the law of cybernetics kick in as you begin to deviate within the initial script of your life, which is failure. It kicks in and aligns you back to that trajectory. You discover after weeks or days, you find yourself in that same bad habit. You find yourself doing that same thing over and over. And it becomes like an infinite loop where you are scared to even try because you know how it's going to end. This is a problem I have with personal development gurus. Personal development gurus, they'll be like, change your actions, take discipline, exercise willpower, and that is great, by the way. But majority of you do not have the same mental fortitude it takes to execute this. So changing your action is like that contrived part of deviating. You always end up back in the same place. Your mindset is either your contribution to your success or your failure. I'll say it again. Your mindset is either your contribution to your success or to your failure. So, how to detox? Let's move to phase two. Phase two would be how to detox. How to detox? We are going to do something very smart that has never been done. So, pay attention and listen carefully. Imagine as you're listening to me, your unborn children and all those who are connected to you are listening through you to me. So pay very attention with what you're about to listen. How to detox. We are going to approach this from a very smart way. This is not going to require discipline. This is not going to require willpower. Let's look at it different. Logical solutions does not produce results because they've already been tried. Because that's what anyone will try and do. So when you're trying to change your life and you're trying to take action and exercise willpower, that's what anyone will try and do. So let's look at it this way. Pivoting back to our example of the law of cybernetics. So instead of changing your actions, causing this deviation, why not change the trajectory? Change the trajectory such that your deviation would align you back to your goal, which is a positive pattern as opposed to the reverse. So change the trajectory of your plane, change the trajectory of your life. So once you deviate, it would align you back to that set goal. Do you see how smart it is? So a step further down the rabbit hole would be majority of you people don't have goals. Majority of people don't know what you're doing. Majority of you wake up like accident, hoping something would come out, hoping one day your ship is going to arrive. But my friend, if you do not plan for success, you're never going to get success. The only thing you do not need to plan for is failure. You do not need to plan to fail. It happens automatically. So if you're living your life on autopilot, guess what you're planning for? Exactly. Imagine two ships. One set out with a plan and map out his voyage, his crew members and his captain are in tandem with the plan. 99% out of the time, they are going to arrive where they are going to. Take the other one for instance. No plan, just cracks up the engine and moves, hoping it will arrive on some marginal imaginary place. It's either it sinks or it winds up on some deserted island. Those are the two options. Perhaps it arrives on some place, but 90% out of the time, it's either that person cannot reproduce that result or transfer the same skill to help other young sailors to achieve that desire because it happened by law. You don't want to be that kind of person. So change your trajectory such that even a deviation is to your advantage because it's only a matter of time before you align back to the trajectory. So let's look at the second thing. The second thing would be to read. I am not suggesting you read to become smarter or to know what people know or all this. This concept of reading has highly been purported, but nobody tells you why you should read, which I'm going to do in a few minutes. So why should you read? Why should you take my advice? Why should you read? Not only does reading make you smarter, but it gives you 30 years of someone's experience distilled in 8 hours. It is chiefly through books that we intercourse with superior minds, then pouring their soul to ours. It was Descartes who said, reading the finest of books is like having the finest of conversation with men of past centuries. So instead of making that same mistake, there are people who have failed for you. You don't have to learn by experience. I think that's stupid. You learn from other people's experience as well as yours. So making the mistake that someone has already made, you're the one who's twice as unwise because someone has failed for you. It's like watching a man fall into a pit, then struggle for 20 years to get out, and you fall into that same pit. So you have a story to tell. That is dumb. There are thousands of adversity you need to overcome. Surmounting or engaging in an adversity that's already been overcome by someone and he's drawn victory lessons of how you can surmount that obstacle without wasting much of your time and making that same mistake, I think that's retarded. So reading gives you experience. Reading makes you smarter. So those decisions, you begin to make smart decisions unconsciously because as you're reading, it's changing your philosophy, it's changing your worldview, how you view the world, your narrative begins to change. Social media no longer becomes appealing, TikTok and all of this. See, once we change the content you consume, your whole life changes. Because as you understand, your mindset dictates how you act, and your actions produce your reality. The moment you begin to change the kind of information that influences your mindset, everything changes. So instead of going through this route of taking action in ignorance is not faith. Perhaps you might manifest it. That's why it's easier for you to quit because there's no conviction behind what you're doing. You do not understand what you're doing. You just learned off some guru that doing this will produce some kind of result. So that's the second one. The third one is delete all social media. Delete harmful information that influences your mind negatively. Uninstall TikTok, uninstall all these social platforms. Well, what if I have a business on it? Well, if you have a business on it, you can log in on your computer or use Safari to even make it more difficult. You can leave YouTube because social media is not dangerous. It's how you use it. Are you a consumer or are you a producer? Me personally, I don't have all of this app installed in my phone. I have businesses I run, but I make sure it's on my laptop. So I even make it a step difficult. So I have to log in on Safari. It's not safe. So I respond to my business emails via my laptop. I don't have all of this installed on my phone. So if you leave all those social media app and you come to YouTube and you're scrolling endless on YouTube shorts, you did not make a change. You're just deceiving yourself. It's like those investors who will say you're diversifying, but diversify in one asset class. In other words, for example, I'm a diversified investor, but all you did is diversify in between tech stocks, blue chip companies, pharmaceuticals. The reality of it is you're living in a mirage of diversification. Once the stock market tanks, all your investment follow suit. So do not leave social media to continue this. Do not uninstall those social platforms to bring the same bad behavior to a new platform. So keep watching positive content like this, and it's only a matter of time before everything begins to change. As you know, there's always an exercise after each and every video. So the exercise of this video is to establish your goals. Write 4 things that moves you closer towards our goals. Not 10 things, not 20 things. Write 4 things that you will do every single day that moves you towards your most coveted goals. It's like if you wanted to cut down a tree and you take an axe and hit it 4 times every single day. If you do that over a long period of time, what would happen? It would fall. So that's where consistency and discipline comes in. So do those 4 things consistently, and always comment down what you've learned. Take notes in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.